Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be going through the solution to exercise 4.3 from the C programming language textbook by Kernighan and Ritchie. Now, exercise 4.3 says to extend the reverse Polish calculator to handle the modulus operator and provisions for negative numbers. Now, I've copied out the program from the textbook. It's given in the book and explained. It is quite complex, and I cannot lie, it did take me a while to fully comprehend. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is add a case in the switch statement for a modulus operator. So the percent sign is what the modulus operator is. And modulus, or modulo, as we recall, is remainder after dividing by a particular number. So it's going to be very similar to the division case. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. And notice we use this temporary variable or this operation because of the order of pushing and popping onto our stack. And here, instead of dividing, I want to take the modulus. However, if we do try and compile this, we'll get an error. And that's because this here, OP2, is a float. And this modulus operator expects integer values. And so there's an error. So to get around this, we're going to use a new function called fmod, or what it stands for is a modulus with a float. And so we specify our arguments like this. So this is what we are taking as our numerator, and this is like what we are dividing by, our modulo operator. Now, to actually be able to use fmod, we need to include another library. And we're going to have to include math.h, and this has a whole lot of mathematical functions we can make use of. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is handle negative numbers. So we're going to change our getOp function or getOperation function. So here the first thing we're going to do is change this. This checks if what we're getting is not a number. So if it's not a digit and it doesn't have a point, then it's obviously not a number. But what if it has a negative sign? So I need to check if it's not a negative sign as well, then it's not a number. Because otherwise, we might just have a negative number. It might think it's not a number, but it's really just a negative number. Okay, but now, as you may think, we may have a problem. What if we don't have a negative number? What if we just want a minus sign? So let's handle this case. So if C, what we just read in, is minus, let's handle this, or whatever that character is, minus or negative, let's handle it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to check what is the number or what is the character after this dash or negative or minus sign. I want to check. So I want to check if it's a digit, and so I should get it using getch. Oh, getch. Okay, if this evaluates to true, then the next character was a number, was a digit, and I should store it in the string. Otherwise, if this is not true, then we just read in a character, but that character was not a digit. And so what we have is a minus. What we have is a minus sign. And so we should unget that character we just read in and then return a minus sign. So if C does not equal EOF, and we make this check later on in this function, then I can unget it. And just as a note, we check if it's not EOF, because if it is EOF, then there's no need to unget it because there can be nothing else after. We're not actually consuming too much. And after we unget it, I'm going to return, well, I can return S, but just to be explicit, I'm going to return this. Okay, let's compile it. Now, if I just compile it like this, we're going to get errors. And that's because the math header file, math.h, is a huge header file with a lot of functions. And so to actually load it in, we have to use -lm, which dash link the math header file. And we can use the other commands as we please. Okay, so let's run it. And let's see if the modulus operator works. So I want to find 10 modulus 3. And so remember, it's reverse Polish, so we have to do something like this. And I expect a value of 1. Okay, what about 10 modulo 2? Oops. Modulo 2, I'm expecting 0. And let's see what happens if I try to take modulo 0. Does it give an error? Yes. That's a little weird that it printed out 10. How about negative numbers? Negative 2 times 4, I'm expecting negative 8. What about negative 2 times negative 4? I'm expecting positive 8. Okay, so it looks like it works. That will be all for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.